our ace, the authority Chief Executive, NMDPRA. Can you give a resounding round of applause for Mallam, Rabiu, Abdullahi, Umar, as he comes to the stage to give his opening remarks. I think that applause was for me, so I will not accept it on behalf of the ACE. Once again, the ACE, NMDPRA.
Thank you, thank you. The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Henneken Lokpoibiri, PhD. Distinguished General Counsel and legal advisors, captains of industry, representatives of government and regulatory institutions, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to the 2026 edition of the NMDPRA General Counsel and Legal Advisors Forum. I'm particularly delighted to be joining you at this forum for the first time as the Authority Chief Executive of NMDPRA. Permit me at the outset to express my appreciation to all participants who have taken the time to be here over the next 2 days. Your presence reflects the importance that the industry places on regulatory engagement, legal certainty, and collaborative problem solving. Indeed, that commitment to engagement is the very reason this forum exists. When the authority established the General Counsel and Legal Advisors Forum, it did so in recognition of a simple reality. Effective regulation cannot be achieved through regulation alone. The most carefully crafted law, the most comprehensive regulation, and the most robust compliance framework ultimately depends on people for their implementation. They depend on the legal advisors who interpret regulatory obligations. They depend on the general counsels who advise boards and management. They depend on the compliance professionals who translate legal requirements into operational systems. And they depend on the willingness of regulators and regulated entities to engage constructively and continuously with one another. That philosophy remains as relevant today as it was when this forum was first conceived. This year's theme, Beyond Compliance, Driving Regulatory Certainty and Investment Confidence in Nigeria's petroleum sector, reflects the maturity of the conversation we are now having as an industry. Last year's forum successfully established compliance as a shared value between the authority and the legal leadership of licensed operators. That was an important achievement. However, compliance, while essential, is not an end in itself. Compliance was and remains the foundation. The broader objective is to create a petroleum industry characterized by certainty, predictability, transparency, and confidence. A sector in which investors can commit capital with clarity, a sector in which operators can make long-term business decisions with confidence, a sector in which regulatory expectations are clearly understood and consistently applied. And ultimately, a sector capable of supporting Nigeria's broader economic aspirations. As we are aware, the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 fundamentally altered the legal and regulatory landscape of our industry. The Act created new institutions. It also established new market frameworks. It introduced new compliance obligations. It created new opportunities for investment, and it placed new responsibilities on regulators, operators, and legal practitioners alike. 5 years into the implementation of the PIA, we have reached an important stage in our journey. The focus is no longer on solely on what the law says. The focus is increasingly on how the law is being implemented, how regulations are operating in practice, how markets are responding to reforms, and how investors are assessing opportunities, as well as how institutions are working together to achieve the objectives that the legislation envisioned. These questions sit at the heart of this forum. Over the next 2 days, we will explore them from multiple perspectives across 6 different sessions that promise to be engaging. Our opening panel will examine the relationship between regulatory certainty and investment confidence and consider what it truly means to move beyond compliance in today's petroleum industry. The high-level governmental panel will also bring together key public sector or stakeholders to discuss institutional coordination, enabling policies, and the broader investment environment. The investment panel will focus on the practical, legal, and commercial pathways through which investment enters into the petroleum value chain. Our discussions on energy security, midstream development, and host community implementation will address some of the consequential issues facing the sector today. Taken together, these 6 sessions form a single conversation, a conversation about how we build a petroleum industry that is not only compliant but competitive, not only regulated but trusted, not only operational but investable, and perhaps most importantly, not only successful today, but sustainable for generations to come. The authority approaches these discussions with humility and openness. We recognize that regulation is most effective when it is informed by engagement. We recognize that implementation challenges do exist. We recognize that areas of ambiguity occasionally arise within even the most carefully designed frameworks, and we recognize that the legal professionals gathered here today possess insights that can help improve regulatory outcomes across the industry. This forum is therefore not intended to be a one-way conversation. It is a listening platform. It is a feedback mechanism. It is an opportunity for candid dialogue between the authority and the legal leadership of licensed operators. I encourage all participants to engage actively, challenge assumptions, share experiences, identify emerging risks, highlight areas requiring clarification, and in the end, offer practical solutions. I have only just assumed the leadership of the authority, but I do so with a firm belief that trust, transparency, and engagement must remain central pillars of our regulatory philosophy. Please be assured that the authority will continue to engage openly with stakeholders, act transparently, regulate fairly and consistently, and remain responsive to the realities of an evolving industry. We will continue to strengthen regulatory clarity, encourage responsible investment, and foster the collaborative relationships that are essential to achieving the objectives of the PIA. We cannot achieve those objectives in isolation. We will achieve them through partnerships, through dialogue, and collective commitment of all stakeholders represented in this room. On behalf of the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, I welcome you once again to this forum. I thank you for your continued partnership and support, and I wish you fruitful deliberations over the course of the next 2 days. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.